Have you ever looked at someone who's just incredible at what they do and thought, wow, they were just born with it? Well, what if that whole idea is a myth? What if genius isn't some gift you're handed, but a place you can get to? We're about to break down the map. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The people we put on a pedestal as geniuses weren't just magically endowed with their skills. No, they were more like builders, craftspeople who learned every single small part before they even thought about creating a masterpiece. And that right there is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If it's a process, then what are the steps? Well, that's what this is all about. We're going to break down the 3 essential phases on the path to mastery and show you exactly how it's done. You know, our culture is obsessed with the idea of the lone genius getting hit by a lightning bolt of inspiration. But honestly, that whole myth is pretty dangerous. It makes greatness seem like some kind of miracle, totally out of reach for the rest of us. The truth is way more practical, and it all starts with one simple, unglamorous step. Okay, phase 1. And listen, every single master in history, I'm talking Leonardo da Vinci, modern-day pioneers, all of them started right here. This is the foundation. Everything else gets built on top of this. And it's not about finding shortcuts, it's about finding the right path. And that path is guided by 2 really important principles. So the first big rule of a real apprenticeship is this. You have to choose the path that offers the most learning, not the one that offers the biggest paycheck right now. You're playing the long game here. You're investing in your most valuable asset, your skills. I mean, think about Benjamin Franklin. He literally could have had a comfortable, secure life handed to him in the family candle business. But he walked away from it. Why? Because he knew that a printing press was a gateway to knowledge, to writing, to influence. He was prioritizing skills over short-term security. That's the move. And the second principle is just as crucial. A real apprenticeship is never static. The moment you start to feel comfortable, that's your signal that it's time to move. You have to keep chasing new challenges, new environments that force you to grow. Getting cozy is the enemy of mastery. Zora Neale Hurston is the perfect example of this. She didn't just stick with what she knew. She took the incredible, rich stories from her childhood in Florida and smashed them together with the super rigorous academic world of anthropology in New York City. And that fusion, that's what created a voice that nobody else had. She built her mastery in the space between those 2 worlds. So, you've spent all this time learning the fundamentals. Now what? Well, phase 2 is where you finally get your hands dirty. It's time to stop just observing and start actively creating, even if you know deep down that your first attempts are probably not going to be perfect. And the key word here is criticism. Yeah, that's the scary part. Active experimentation isn't just about practicing in your garage. It's about putting your work out into the world to be judged. That feedback, even when it stings, is the fastest way to find your own blind spots. It shows you exactly where the gaps in your knowledge are. The poet John Keats wrote this after he finished a really long poem that by the end he kind of hated, but he got it. He knew that by struggling through it, by leaping into the sea, he learned way more about his craft than if he just played it safe on the shore. Your mistakes are just data points. You can see how this builds up with someone like Henry Ford. He didn't just master one thing and stop. First, he mastered mechanics. Then he used that skill to build a car. But that experiment showed him a whole new problem. He didn't know how to sell it or produce it at scale. So he had to embrace a totally new apprenticeship in business. Each experience just revealed the next skill he needed to learn. Okay, this next phase, this might be the most overlooked part of the entire journey. Seriously, you can have all the technical skills in the world, but if you can't navigate the tricky, complicated world of people with all their egos, their insecurities, their hidden agendas, your brilliant work is just never going to reach its full potential. Just look at the difference in thinking here. The naive person sees the surface level. They take everything at face value. But the master sees the whole chessboard. It's not about being cynical. It's about being strategic. They're constantly asking why and trying to figure out the bigger game that's being played underneath it all. And here's our guy Franklin again, playing that chessboard like a grandmaster. He totally reads his boss's hidden plan, but he doesn't get angry. He gets strategic. He just quietly uses the situation to his own advantage, and he turns what was supposed to be a trap into the launch pad for his own business. Now that is social intelligence in action. So when you boil it all down, this phase is all about perception. It's about learning to see people and situations objectively, for what they really are, instead of through the filter of your own hopes and emotions. The ability to just detach and analyze human nature, well, that's a superpower. So once you start to integrate all three of these phases, the deep learning, the active experimentation, and the sharp social intelligence, something really profound starts to happen. You don't just get a new skill, you get a completely new way of seeing the entire world. And this is the ultimate goal, the dimensional mind. It's where you stop seeing things as separate, isolated pieces. Instead, you see the whole system. You understand the connections, the hidden forces, the entire game, not just the move right in front of you. Think about it. We live in a world of surfaces, right? We're surrounded by these incredible machines that just work. But most of us have absolutely no idea about the complex systems inside that are actually making them function. There's a huge gap. And guess what? It's the exact same thing with people. We see their social masks, their public faces every single day, but we often stay totally blind to the deep psychological currents that are actually driving their behavior. We're missing the why. The master's entire goal is to destroy that separation. It's to fuse the what with the how. It's about seeing those deep, hidden connections between everything, to finally understand the whole system, not just the individual parts. That's the kind of thinking that gave us Leonardo da Vinci. So, in the end, this whole journey isn't some mysterious gift dropped from the heavens. It's a strategy. It's all about learning to see the entire board, not just the one piece you're holding. The path is clear, so the only question left is, are you ready to play?